Hi,
Sam.
Imagine a world where all of your important objects are neatly consolidated on one device, your cell phone. With your cell phone, you could lock your front door, start your car, and purchase your morning breakfast. All of this is possible with the use of near-field communication technology. Near-field communication, or NFC for short, is a rather new technology that's gaining popularity because of its unique characteristics. It allows for short-range interactions between two different devices. Aisha Bodani, an editor for the Institution of Engineering and Technology, predicts that within the next few years, NFC will become increasingly more popular with a whole host of applications in our daily lives. This is exciting to me personally because I am fascinated by technology that has potential to simplify my life, and I personally believe that NFC can revolutionize many different industries. I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about how NFC works, then I'll talk about some of the current uses, and I'll close by telling you some of the challenges that have to overcome in the future. So let's talk about how it works. NFC is a form of wireless communication. Many of you have probably heard of Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, but maybe not as much about NFC. NFC is different because it's designed for short-range interactions, which helps add security against online criminals. It's also much easier to set up and quicker than the similar technologies. The data transmission process was explained well by Shelley McHugh and Kristen Yarmy, co-authors of a journal article about NFC. They said that there are two devices involved, the initiator device and the target device. The initiator emits a radio frequency field that is detected by the antenna in the target device when it's placed within about 4 centimeters of the initiator. Through this connection, data is able to be transmitted via electron modulation. In a real-life example, the initiator device would be in the form of a reader on the counter in a store, and the target device would be your cell phone that you're going to put up next to it. Now I have a quick video to show you. So Ed, you can put that up quickly. This is just Apple Pay in action. That's me putting my phone up. And there, the transaction's done. So that was just Apple Pay in action. But there's also many other uses for this technology. For instance, actually, many people probably didn't know, but before Apple Pay, there are other devices, other cell phones that had NFC. But when Apple got behind the technology, it became much more widespread because more companies started to back the product. In other places around the world, in the transportation industry, they allow you to store your ticket on your cell phone so that you can use NFC at the terminals to get onto your plane or bus. And they also use NFC for access and authentication, which allows people to enter through certain doors while the door remains locked for people that don't have the proper verification. Perhaps the biggest and most important use of, so I showed you Apple Pay. That was the biggest and most popular use of NFC. So there's a lot of uses for NFC, but now I'm going to tell you about some of the things that it has to overcome, some barriers. And perhaps the biggest barrier is the idea of security. Sure, I mentioned that the close proximity gives security against online criminals, but what about if your phone is stolen? Most people are afraid to have all of their important information on one device because if their phone is stolen, that means all of their important information is gone with it. However, companies are doing things to make the user feel more comfortable. For instance, Apple Pay requires a fingerprint authorization before the payment is processed because it doesn't want any stranger with a phone to be able to make payments. So that is one good thing. Another thing is the use of Find My iPhone, which is a service on iCloud. And on Find My iPhone, you can log on, and on this menu, you're able to track your phone, play a siren on your phone, and leave a message on the screen so that if someone has found your phone while it's lost, they can know who to call. And this actually happened recently with my dad. He lost his phone at the gym, and I was able to leave a message on the screen, and somebody had found his phone and they called me back, and we were able to pick it up the next day. So that was a great security feature that Apple had implemented. So while there are So we can see there's a lot of great uses for this technology. Today I told you about how NFC works in general, and I told you about some of the current uses, and I finished by telling you about some of the challenges that this technology has to overcome in the future. So next time you're waiting in line at McDonald's with an NFC-enabled phone in your pocket, consider taking that out and simplifying your life. Thank you.